Namaste, everyone. Good morning. Wish you all a very happy Saturday, happy spring. We are seeing the earth being really colorful, and we see the earth is happy, and we see flowers. So nice to see flowers after such a long gap. And I feel like when I see the flowers, I feel like I got a new life, new birth. So I'm feeling really good and happy. And today we have a woman, she has a title of power. Wow, that's empowering, right? And she does all kind of financial thing. I think that is also empowering. And I think today we will have a power-packed episode. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's go for it. Namaste. I welcome you to my podcast, Holistic Conversations, with your host, Mamina Das. Join me in my journey, in all of our journey, because we are all unique and we are the universe. Welcome to Holistic Conversations. Oops. Okay. Some change in the setting. Again. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay, I have something to say. I'll just remove myself. And Mary, I'm sorry about that. We'll just try one more time.
Oh, no problem.
Sure. No, it's still not doing it. Why it's not doing it? Whoa, okay, I think we will have to go with this setting today. I am not sure what is happening. I do not want to keep you holding on to this technical difficulty. Okay, I want to welcome you to Holistic Conversations. And I'm very happy that somebody is going to talk about finance today. I'm really looking forward to it, and especially from a woman. And I think that's really very sexy, very, very sexy.
That's funny.
Okay, Mary Powers, we welcome you, and we are all set to listen to you. If you would like to share something from your childhood and how you found this career choice, and until now, let's just get rolling with that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mamina, for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. I don't often join these things, so Mamina is special that I agreed to do one for her. So time is precious, as they say. So we only spend time with people that we actually connect with, right? But since you asked, I'm happy to tell you more about myself. I'm originally from the Philippines. I came to the United States in 1986. All thanks to my grandfather who served in the U.S. Army. He's the only reason why my family and I are in the United States. Otherwise, I would still probably be in the Philippines. Or working in some other country, laboring, like my fellow citizens from native citizens from the Philippines. But in any event, fast forward, we came to the U.S. to live the American dream. I did. My parents were both, working class. My dad had to get recertified for a CPA. My mom, she worked at McDonald's as her first job here, and worked her way up to becoming a nurse. So, we followed their footsteps because that's what we thought we were supposed to do, get your job and get your benefits and get your degrees and all that fancy stuff. But what they don't tell you, fast forward again, is that all of that requires debt. And sadly, that is what is not being spoken about in today's society. So I did exactly that. And then thankfully, I did not fall into debt because we as a family, we came to the US with nothing. And Mamina, you may be able to relate to this. We came here with nothing. We were using tables, boxes as our dining table. From the region where we were at in the Philippines, we didn't really use utensils. We used our hands to eat. So it was interesting to just, to start discovering utensils and so on. So we came from very humble beginnings, let's just say. But again, I'm very happy that my two brothers and I lived the American dream. We did the schooling. My older brother is a doctor. I ended up working in for the government and the law firm and so on. And my younger brother is also in the financial industry. And we all did great. We all did the, go to school, get a job, get your benefits and so on. And that's all trading time for money. And we traded a lot of time for money, but the money was never, parallel to the amount of work that you were actually doing, regardless of whether you're a doctor or in the finance industry or so on. There's always stress there. So how did they get? So fast forward. Like I said, when I went to college in Washington D.C. The reason why is because I wanted to get out of a small town where I grew up in New Jersey. And I was going only to school that offered me a full scholarship because I did not want to be in debt like a lot of people are. And thank goodness, because I could have fallen for the enormous financial packages that were being given to me. But man, I would have been in so much debt from these Ivy League universities and so on. So I'm glad that I took the better route, that I am not paying for this ridiculous, back then, ridiculous, the tuition was ridiculous. But even now when I look at it, I said, my God, who's ever going to pay that off? So I did that. I went to school in American. While I was going to school, I was working for the government in order to be able to live in Washington, D.C., which is a high cost of living area. And then I continued to work for the government until I then got recruited by a big law firm where I had no idea I would be for 20 years. Again, I went in not knowing why in the world I'm joining a law firm. They were actually recruiting me to become a lobbyist because I used to work for the government, and lobbyist firms often like to recruit people who are in the from the government space, so it helps them be more effective in what they do. But I have no idea. I have really no interest in lobbying. I like to deal with people, and over the years, I discovered that I actually fill the gap with something that lawyers don't like doing, and that is talking to normal people. So should I continue, Mamina? I think we lost Mamina. But anyway, in the event that this is being recorded, I'll just continue. So fast forward after 20 years, I was.
We are listening to you. We are listening to you. I focused because we need to listen to you more.
Oh, it's okay. I just want to make sure that I wasn't, talking to myself. But anyway, so I graduated. I went to a little big law firm, and then COVID hit. And that was when I realized that even after 20 years of loyalty, that does not give you job security, because my entire team got furloughed during COVID. And it's because we were seen as overhead. If you know profitability, and a partnership likes to keep its profits to itself, they get rid of people who are making money that I think is too much. And which is funny because my high salary to them was actually only about 50% of what it was worth. So after all the taxes and so on. So I started my own business. That was my opportunity to really say, I've been here for 20 years. I'm not really happy here anymore because we had merged with a big giant firm and different cultures are clashing. I knew what I liked to do. I like to coach and mentor lawyers who wanted to do better in business development. But I also wanted to help ordinary people and do more international projects. So I have a consulting arm. My consulting firm is called MAGENT. And I purely am capitalizing on what I do well with lawyers, is helping them generate business. I sort of serve as a coach and a wingwoman because it's hard for them to connect with people. It's a skill they don't teach you in law school. They have a lot of IQ, right? Big high IQ does not help you get clients. You need to work on your emotional, social, and adversity quotient. So that's sort of the gap I fill for them when we're helping to generate some work. But on the other side of thing, as I mentioned, and that's what we're really talking about here, is I wanted the opportunity to help ordinary people. When I worked with the government, that was probably the best thing about it, was that I felt the best when I helped an ordinary citizen accomplish something. One of the best experiences I like to highlight is when I worked in the senatorial office. There were a lot of people with handicaps. And I love the fact that I could call somebody from some government office and ask them to go downstairs and help this poor handicapped woman or man get to where they need to be, instead of that man or woman sitting in a line waiting to be served. So that's the kind of help I'm talking about. And then fast forward. So in my consulting, I did, as I said, I traded a lot of time for money when I was in a law firm. They paid me well to forget about my own goals and dreams. So that's what being an employee is. When you're paid a salary, that's what the salary is. And then I became self-employed, being a consultant. And the only way I was going to replace that six-figure income was to take on more clients, because I'm only me. I didn't have a team like I used to, right? And I discovered really fast that that's a lot of time for money too. So I said, man, there's got to be a different way here. And at the same time, I was discovering while I was working with some small businesses that people weren't making it at the level they were at. Meaning, I had experienced that. I was paid well, but I wasn't getting ahead, right? And then there are small businesses that are, they're just coming along and they're not getting ahead either. And I work with two of the top leadership experts in the world who discovered what the problem is. It is because of our financial system. We have, there's exploding debt by our government. I like to tell people that if you didn't know this, every citizen in the US owes about 1.1 million out of the government's debt. So if you have a $1.1 million lying around, make sure you save that for the government debt payments.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Right. Not many people are sitting around sitting on $1.1 million, right? So that's number one. So what people don't realize is we are servicing a financial system. The government creates money out of nothing because they have bestowed this power to the financial system to create money out of nothing. And when you create money out of nothing, that inflates prices. That inflates everything, right? So, and the government has to pay that back with compounding interest, kind of like the credit cards that people have. They have compounding interest. Well, governments, because they don't make money, they make money by taxing us. They have to pay that, plus whatever the principal is of the debt, plus compounding interest. So that's why I wasn't kidding when I said $1.1 million per American that's owed to the government for their debts. So if you think about that, that's one prong that people have to deal with. Starting when they start making money. And I love it when people would just start with an hourly job and they get their first paycheck and they discover that money has been taken out of my pay. Yes, the government takes money out of your paycheck before you even get it, right? And then they have to use that already taxed money to buy stuff and buy sales tax, right? And you got to file income tax and pray that you don't owe more taxes. And there's so many other, exploding fees and inflation and so on that people have to deal with. So I bring that to fore because I want people to realize that the financial system is against them. And if they don't plan accordingly and use proper tools to help them circumvent all of that, they'll have to work for the rest of their life. How many retirees do we know are going back to work because Social Security is not enough? The prices that we're paying, an average Social Security paycheck couldn't buy you a normal set of groceries. So this is a fact that people need to accept and be able to, again, use tools that can help you so that you are not living paycheck to paycheck and be on survival mode.
That was such a good brief of everything. You have covered almost everything. And I think the thing about 401k is also that is when I talk to some of my colleagues, they just don't want to put any money in 401k no more. They say, no, my piggy bank idea is better than 401k. So I say, wow, that's really great. To get out of that mindset, well, but they know what difference does it make? What difference does it make to them? So that was good to know what is happening now. And it's like some kind of survival crisis going on here. And finance is a big part of it. And really, I liked when you talked about, I also belong to middle class family, so everything and anything that you said, other than American dream, I really never had American dream, but I really wanted to do something for myself. That was my dream. But then I'm here, right?
Yes, you're doing your dream, Amina.
I am here and my dreams are unfolding. So now it is kind of an American dream unfolding. And I'm grateful, actually. I'm grateful for that unfolding because this was not planned. And this is a better plan. Looks like a better plan.
Yes.
I liked when you said they paid you enough money to forget your goals. And you realized that, what's going on? What's going on? Really, that I loved that realization. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So that, how did you land up in that realization? By seeing people? Because you had this, how? Because, sometimes we are so lost. We are completely lost. Either we are, and your relation of with time and money that you have understood is very smart.
Yeah, well, again, I think I have to thank COVID for it, actually. Because if I had not gotten furloughed, I wouldn't have woken up. I was paid well. But again, I was getting paid a 40 hours a week salary to work 120 plus hours a week. And I had 3,500 children, adult children. So again, when COVID hit and I got furloughed, it was my opportunity to really reflect. And I said, my gosh, I've been in this firm for 20 years. And one, clearly they don't see my value because I'm getting furloughed, right? Two, I have spent a lot of time here. And I just have, my children were young. Both my boys were very young at the time. Actually, my first child. And I said, I don't like having to put him in aftercare. I want to be the one to take care of my own child. And I had a second one, and so on. So at that point, I said, and of course I was virtually schooling. Everybody was virtually schooling during COVID. And I said, this isn't going to work, right? I have to find something else. So that's where it really forced me to reflect and what's important to me. One, I realized time is precious and nobody has a guarantee that we'll be around tomorrow, right? So we have to use our time productively, right? With a purpose. And Chris Brady, who's one of the people I work with in one of my businesses, he thank goodness that I found this community, because I was lost. Like you said, I was lost. I was doing a job to service and fulfill the goals of other people, right? But I wasn't really fulfilling my own. Um, so so that's really what where it came down to. I reflected on, it's great that I'm paid well, but I have lost so much time, and there's so much more I want to do with my life. And I don't want to just work with lawyers anymore. I want to work with normal people, because I come back to the fact that I came here as a blessing, thanks to my grandfather. I want to be able to help other people get to help them achieve their own goals and dreams. And that's where the Starfish business that I do comes in. And that is,
Yeah.
again, the blessing that came to my life, because I did not know what my purpose was until I realized I'm happier serving other people, and ordinary people, not just lawyers.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that vision, that realization and reflection, and the way you contemplated. um I think that was your breakthrough to come back to yourself. And you said that didn't make you happier, but now you are happiest because you have a purpose and you are serving the ordinary people. I mean, that's just so extraordinary, I would say.
Thank
That's so
you.
extraordinary. And yeah, let's talk about Starfish. I just have one thing to say before we proceed, because we were supposed to have another person guest today, Robin Eddleman, but she is having some technical issues with her device, so she's not able to connect with us today. And hopefully, when we do it again, we will try to do it with her. So, Robin, we remember you here, and with Starfish coming in now, I think Mary is going to also talk something about you, and then yeah, thank you, and we appreciate you trying from your device, but you know, you never know, and you know that sometimes things work, sometimes things doesn't. So we will have you back sometime when we plan for a next episode. Yes, Mary, to you. Starfish.
Well, yeah. So I want to thank you for the opportunity for me sharing this, because I'm now going back to the financial stress that everybody is going through. Every single one of the, at least the people who are working or supporting families or paying bills and so on, have to reflect on their current financial situation, and where they want to be, right? And not enough people are looking at where they want to be. I mentioned time and money. It's good to have both, but there are not a lot of opportunities to get both, right? Most people are trying to get time and money by just trading more time, right? But there's only so much time in a day. And the sad thing is, what's keeping people from the life they want is a wall. That's our financial system. And it's literally a wall because of the exploding debt I mentioned. We are paying for the government's debt. Every program you hear about that, remember, I used to work for the government. I know, sadly, all the waste that you're hearing about right now is all true. And there's more to come. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But the exploding debts of the government that we have to pay for in taxes, plus our own debt service to the financial system, with student loans, alder loans, and mortgage loans, and so on. And then the inflation, because businesses have to pay for their own debts and their own taxes. So guess what? They raise the prices on us, and cost of goods and services, and prices of eggs and things like that are all going up. I mean, why are people having to smuggle eggs from Mexico, for God's sakes, right? We have our own eggs here. But this is all because of our financial system. The root of it, there's actually a great book called Insidious, and it's written by the chairman of the developer of Starfish. His name is Orrin Woodward. He wrote a book called Insidious, and people want to know how we got here should read that book, because it is eye-opening. And he wrote it with a complete unbiased manner. Nobody told him how to write it. He did all the research for us. And as I was reading it, I said, my gosh, I have seen all of this, while I was in government, while I was in a law firm, and when I was consulting for lawyers and businesses. And it's sadly, that's the root of the problem. We call it the financial matrix that is enslaving people. The time and money trade is all designed so that you borrow money that doesn't exist and you pay for it for whatever amount of years you decide to pay that off, right? It's the same thing with credit cards. They rely on really getting into people's subconscious that you can live free. You can live free by spending money you don't actually have. Every time you tap and swipe that thing, you feel free. And I feel bad for, we had talked a little bit about neurodivergence. And that really impacts people who have anxiety. Whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got financial anxiety now because of the financial system, how, people are on survival mode, having to pay things paycheck to paycheck, having to figure out where am I going to find this other stream of income if I'm a single mom or I lost my job. A lot of people in the government are losing their job, and guess what? They didn't plan. They thought they had job security like I did because I worked for a law firm for 20 years. Even if you work for the government for 30 some years, right? Suddenly you're getting forced to retire early, right? So people need to be more cognizant of this system and how you can get around it, right? Ways to get around it. And that's where really Starfish comes in. It is basically, it's a way out. We call it the way out because there is no other way out. Most people don't have a way to circumvent all of this exploding debt, fees, and inflation. And all it is a different way of paying, which helps both neurodivergent and neurotypical people because you only spend what you have. You cannot go into retail therapy, shopping, right? You can't, if it's gone, it's gone. That's what credit cards want you to do. And this is a digital platform that was designed to keep you from being irresponsible, to help bring back financial fitness into people, budgeting, which is hard for some people, but when you're putting a certain amount there, that's all you can spend. Right? And you can see it, right? And this is designed really to help defund these credit cards that are making money out of everyone. And I'm not just talking about credit cards, by the way. It's also debit cards. Any plastic that has a bank attached to it with Visa and MasterCard or American Express, they're tied to the big banks. And they have a monopoly, sadly. These cards make over 50% profit every year from the people, right? Again, people don't realize this. Every time you tap and swipe, you are creating money that doesn't exist. And $300 billion in late fees and interest. That's how much they make out of the people. I'm not going to go into all the statistics, but this Starfish platform is a different way of paying so that all you're doing is creating a digital gift card to pay for your purchase. The merchants love it because that saves them from having to pay transaction fees, which could be anywhere between 3 to 6% per tap and swipe, right? By saving them those fees, they share those profits back with our community. So that's the community. We call it the consumer rebellion because it's time for a different system. It's time for people to realize that debt is not freedom. And thankfully I was smart enough when I was looking at colleges and so on, I was smart enough not to fall for the student loan packages because I would have been in debt in addition to other debts that I had, while I was getting my sexy salary. That wasn't getting anywhere, right? It was literally, that was it was for. I was paying debts, right? Paying my rent or my mortgage, whatever it is, along with other things. There was a time when I was trapped by the credit card industry as well. And I woke up and said, man, if you look, and historically it used to be maybe 10 years ago, I think the average interest rate was more like 13%. Now you've got cars trying to charge you 25 to, anywhere between 25 to 30%. Nobody's ever going to pay that off. And the evil thing is they use they use those people with cars that never pay it off. They use those fees they charge them for being late and so on. They recycle that to pay other people who are paying off their statements and so on every month. That's what they use to pay your cash backs and those mileage trinkets that they offer you. So again, they've gotten smart in getting into people's subconscious to think that you are free and you are not. Anytime you owe anything, you are an asset and liability to yourself, right? So that's what I love about the Starfish community, is that we're empowering people to be financially responsible. Save yourself money. It's inflation proof because every time you use a digital gift card to pay for your purchase, nobody's tracking what you're buying. The credit cards don't know what you bought. The stores don't know what you bought. You bought it and you got cash back, instantly in your e-wallet, digital wallet. So this actually helps neurodiverse people because they don't have to worry, about whether they're late for a stupid credit card payment. Don't use them. Use this instead, right? Use a platform that actually pays you to use it and keeps you financially responsible. And neurotypical people as well, because it really helps people realize that my money is getting stolen. Every time I don't pay that bill, it's getting stolen. This is a way for people to pay themselves back. And it's also, and this is the lovely part about this platform is available for people to own, normal people. Because normal people don't have $1 million to go buy a franchise, right? And a traditional B-type business with a system. That's the other side, by the way. The employee self-employed, as Robert Kiyosaki describes it, that's the trading time for money way of living. And that means no time, limited time, no leverage. And then 95% of people live on that side. The other side is the B-type business with a system that makes money for you with leverage and systems and being investors. And sadly, only 5% of the people are on those quadrants, but 95% of the money is there because they figured out, how not to kill themselves, right? From trading so much time for money. So Starfish is the tool that was developed by Orrin Woodward and Chris Brady to allow ordinary people to own their own B-type business with a system. That is the only way out when you have exploding debt, fees, and inflation. To own your own business that's not going to cost you $1 million. So while you're saving money, you can actually earn as well if you wanted to. So that's why I'm part of it. It is a no-brainer business when I saw it. Because again, I know historically, I've seen it, that this is happening to ordinary people. And I don't want that. That's just, to me, it's pure evil. Profiting from people that you're enslaving for the rest of their lives on these giant loans that they were, basically convinced to get into, right? And there's a saying that if you took all the things that people own that were bought on credit that are not paid off, there will be very little left, and how sad is that? That's not freedom. So that's what Starfish is about. It's a platform that we're encouraging people to use. We just need more people. We need more people to use it, and we need more people to get behind sharing it with other folks. And there's more of us ordinary people than those financial elites. So let's unite to empower ourselves. In light of what I had just described.
Yeah, I think this is really good. And I was, as you were sharing the idea, I think the market that you're tapping is very diverse because you have included neurodiverse people, and I think people who are from different countries. They have language problem. They have so many different kind of how do I say? It can serve people from different walks of life, like, for example, seniors. Yes, easy peasy, easy peasy. Not everyone is a tech savvy, but it's you can this you can like you don't have to think too much, like you said, no brain.
It's a no-brainer.
So yeah, so I think it's easy for so many people to use it, user friendly, as we say, like user friendly. So yeah, it can be good for students as well, like to have them in a limit, like yeah.
Yes, yes. In fact, it's funny you say that, because this is why I'm talking to high school. Once they turn 18, they start getting those credit card applications, and are sold this concept that you need to build your credit. Build your credit doesn't mean go into debt, right? That means, yes, you can use it just to make them happy, but pay it off, right? Do not be a slave of the debt system. So yes, you're right. This works for everyone 18 and above. There are people who are in their 80s, including my father-in-law, doing this, and actually using the Starfish to fight inflation. Some people are using it as an additional stream of income, because all you have to do is share it. That's it. And share it and get it to our community. And I don't know who doesn't want to save these days. And this is why I'm really I'm involved in another organization called American National High School Championship Association. And through that, I am teaching financial literacy and personal development. Those are the two prongs that are behind also the Starfish business, because it's not just about making money and being prudent with your money, but also bettering people. Because if we have better people who know how to deal with other people and have financial literacy, we'd have a better world, right? And there won't be so much fighting about finances. I mean, how many divorces are we seeing these days over finances?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
who suffers from that? The children, right?
Yes.
And I want a better future for our children. And that's the other reason
Yeah.
I'm in this, because I don't want my kids to inherit this nonsense. There is an ecosystem of financial elites controlling the money supply, and they play with their own rules, not the
Yeah.
golden rule, but the rule of power. And
Yeah.
it's making everybody else work. Productivity keeps rising, but that's the reason why wages aren't keeping up with productivity, is because of
Yeah.
inflated money, and money that's created out of nothing. so
Yeah.
so people need to know that now. Um, I encourage financial literacy, which is not taught in schools. And I don't know,
Yes.
I think it's by design that they don't teach financial literacy, because they want you to be in debt. And
Yeah.
that is not the American freedom that
Yeah.
I came here for. And I want people not to. The freedom is to be able to have your own money supply, to be able to live the life you want and not ever be indebted to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. As you were talking about applying for credit card, having your credit score, we have gone through that. Like when my son was like 18, and then we had to set up his account and he for his card and stuff like that. So we would let him spend for we would let him buy everything, like okay, you buy, and then uh, keep the date when you have to pay for the card, so then we give him the amount, and then he pays to the bank. So we had to go through the entire process of teaching him how to like spend and spend in limit and then stuff like that, which is a lot of self control, and
Mm-hmm.
which they never teach in school. So
Yeah.
it
So
was like
yeah. That's exactly why I'm doing it through an online platform, the American National High School Championship Association, because people need to know early on. I mean, this is available to middle and high school students.
yeah,
It's, college is too late to have financial literacy.
yeah,
Even high school. So middle schoolers and parents can play a really good role here. And that's what I do. I have my 13-year-old. When he turned 13, I put the Starfish platform on his phone, because I want him to see this is how much we have, and we have to be smart about where we buy things, right? Which of these stores are going to give us the best deal for whatever it is that we're trying to buy, and because you instantly get cash back, right? And so, and you can spend that towards some other purchase. I have not, some of his friends have debit cards and so on. Like, no, we're not even dealing with that nonsense, right? You were just going to use this. And if it's not on the platform, you're not buying it. That's the rule. So,
I
and there are
think that
plenty of
is,
choices.
I mean, yes, I think for my son was so excited, used to be so excited, Mama, this store has 6% cash back. If you buy from there, you get this percent of cash back. I'm like, oh my God, why do you keep my notifications are on? Like if you tell me to buy this, then I know where to buy so that we get the cash back. I'm like, that's a lot of work for me. I don't want to think about that. Like we have our stores fixed, we have our things fixed, and that is a lot of thing to do. But sometimes he does that. Like when he is shopping for himself, he will be like, no, I don't want to shop from here because I'm going to get some cash back and stuff like that. That's a lot for me. I don't do all those things. So
Yeah,
whoever can
know.
manage. Yeah, I know.
Yes, but keep in mind that you are giving money to someone else, right?
Yeah.
So the less money you have to give to someone else, the better.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good that sometimes what happen nowadays is like we have a lot of choices, but this with Starfish, I understand that the choices are limited, and I think it is something positive because sometimes too many choices, too overwhelming, you are too distracted, you want this, that, everything, you want to try this, you want to try that, and you just completely lose hold of yourself, like where do I catch myself to stop myself, like it's a different it's a difficult situation for a child or an adult to hold on to themselves, like they feel more about their freedom. I have so many choices. I have so many
No.
choices. But Starfish, I think, is because you have limited choices, so they can also narrow down their they can save themselves from that overwhelming situation, which will ultimately reduce the anxiety,
Yes,
which is ultimately, I think that's a good thing.
yeah. Well,
Mentally.
financial anxiety is everywhere, regardless of whatever your brain function is, it's everywhere now. And sadly, yes, credit cards give you the false freedom that false freedom feeling, and allows you to do the impulsive shopping that people shouldn't be doing. If you don't have the money, you can't buy it, right? Credit cards allow you to do that because they want you to feel free. That's the problem with that. Debit cards, sadly, they incur a fee too. And if you didn't know, every time you tap and swipe, that incurs a fee that got added to the price you're paying. So all Starfish is doing is circumventing that. It's the only technology in the US and Canada that can create a digital retail transaction and get around the credit and debit cards getting a cut out of it. Because all you're doing is creating a digital gift card for the merchant that you're shopping from to pay for your purchase. The merchant saved those transaction fees because you didn't use a plastic card that's tied to a bank, whether debit or credit card, and they share that back with you instantly in your Starfish wallet. So it's one place. That's what I'm teaching my own 13-year-old. This is the one place where you're going to be able to spend money with my permission, right? Because I will know if you spent money. Right? I will know what you spent it on, and I want you to convince me that there's a better deal here and there, right? So, regardless, anytime he spends using the Starfish platform to pay for the purchase, he's getting something back. And that's what that's what I'm teaching him, is that you have to be cognizant of where you're putting your money.
Yeah, that's right. That's very right for nowadays, for students at least.
Students and adults, because in the United States, well, I should say North America, including Canada, there are I think there's I think it's $1.3 trillion in unpaid credit card debt alone, right? With an average of 25% interest. Think about that. It will take the average salaries of about 5 million North Americans to get to $300 billion. And remember what I said earlier, that every time you that tapping and swiping, and even if you paid it off your credit card, you're partnering with, the bad guys because they're paying you to not to look away from the people who have to pay their groceries with a credit card and so on, having to pay those late fees and so on. That's what you're getting paid those points and mileage and so on from. And there are studies on this. There's real data behind that. So I said, I don't want to profit from people who are suffering, So I think the mission behind this is good. Let's defund them. Let's redirect that money back to the people, because people need to get their money back. And that money that's getting stolen from us every day, because there are still places where I have to use the debit card. I try to pay in cash, but let's be honest, cash is being used less and less. You notice some small businesses asking you to pay, you pay less if you pay in cash or check versus a debit or credit card. Even with the school my kids are at, I used to be in the school board, and I told the parents, if you're going to make a donation, please don't use a debit or credit card because you will have to pay a transaction fee. When you use those square things, right? They make it so convenient. You just tap and swipe. And, you will have to pay a 2.5%, processing fee, and so will the school. So your $10 donation is going to end up 2.5% less than it is, right? Unless the school adds that, which is, why would they want to do that, right? So anyway, this is how sneaky it has gotten. Everything that all the tapping and swiping has produced $1.1 trillion in unpaid credit card debt, among North Americans. And it's just time to reverse it. People should not be living in debt. They need to be financially free.
Yeah, I remember when we were young, I never knew my father is paying anything for card, it used to always be cash,
Yes.
So for me, when we moved out of India, it was fun for me. Like really, one tap and the money gone, and no, it was really funny. And what happens is with that, we don't know how much money is gone because we are not counting. No
Right.
brain, no brain. Tap
That's
and
what they
gone.
want, Amina.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was like, it was initially it was fun. Then it is like it's very slippery because you don't know how much you're spending. You're not counting your money that you're giving, so it's very slippery. Oh my god.
Yeah. So think about how many people are in the US alone, 330 million people tapping and swiping, right? And you're right. That's exactly what they want you to do, is to feel like it's no stress until you get a bill. Until you get a bill, and you're wondering, hey, how did I spend that much money, right? Yeah, and then next thing you know, and then you pay, then there are people who are only paying the minimum payment, which is the wrong thing to do, because you're never gonna, you're only paying the interest. You're never putting the principal down. So it is a sad downward spiral, and that's where it starts.
Yes.
That's why Starfish is focused on defunding the credit cards, because that's the gateway to further indebtedness. And so that's what it's designed for, is to get people away from using those cards. Because you're absolutely right. Before these plastic cards came out, you used cash. And if you didn't have the money, you don't spend money.
No, you don't. You don't have it, so you don't spend it.
And for that reason, Amina, our parents have had more spending power than most people today, because people's spending power today is reliant on credit, and that is not, again, that's not freedom.
Yes.
That's not freedom. And I encourage people that, if you've gotten in so much debt, there's still a way out. Get into our Starfish community. Whether or not you're in debt, help us. We just need more people to band together, unite in community to end this nonsense. And the advertisers are in cahoots with the financial industry. Because they own them. The banks, these financials own the advertisers, right? So they're the ones. So their job is to get into people's subconscious to make you feel good. Right? That's why there are ads. There
Yeah.
are. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. They come out with these ads. That there was one. I didn't see that, but I heard about it. There was an ad for Rocket Mortgage, where they showed all these people buying homes and so on, because that's freedom and so on. But that is not freedom. Freedom with buying something with money you don't have is not freedom.
Not freedom. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
You
my
should.
God. When I'm talking to you, I feel some part of my husband, because he is against credit card. He is like, no credit card. No, no, no.
Yeah.
He's a big no for credit card, and he is so good with his finances. Oh my God, he's super duper good with his finances. And somehow I like a little bit of flexibility. I'm on the other side. I like to spend a little bit, but
Hmm.
he's always like, well, no credit card, man. Just do it with your debit card. Don't go into credit card.
Well, because
I'm
he
like,
understands, right?
no, he does. He does very well. He will always be like, cashback deal. Do you even know what is behind that? I'm like, no, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about
Yes,
it.
but you do, because at the end of the day, it's money that you earned that's going to somewhere else that it shouldn't be going to. So that's the whole idea behind getting people back to financial responsibility. Take a minute to think about whether you really need that item, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people spend frivolously on things they don't need. And lately, we live in a nice house, but lately I've been thinking about all the things we have that we don't actually need, but again, that was the whole, thankfully they're not bought on credit. They're all things that we bought with real cash. But going back, now that I'm even more financial literate, I mean, I had financial literacy, but even more now that I joined the Starfish community. I just realized that, man, a lot of stuff is just, stuff, right? And I'm even thinking about downsizing. That's the funny part. I'm thinking of downsizing because other people could use this stuff. So anyway, it's everyone's from different walks of life have a different perceptions of money. But I always tell
Yeah.
people, don't let money control you. You have to
Yeah.
control it.
Yes. I think
And
that's my husband. You have perfectly said.
yeah, I need to talk to your husband.
Yeah, you need to talk to him. Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Uh,
for sure, for sure. Oh
yeah,
my
well,
God.
yeah, because it is so important to lead the next generation in the right direction, right? If
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
keep our government from, we're never going to stop them from taxing us. So
yeah,
people need to be prepared for that. Remember,
yeah,
1.1 million per citizen,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
That we
yeah,
owe to pay off their debts.
yeah.
But leading them in the right direction so that they can't, knowing that they can live free. You don't have
Mm.
to be, you don't have to be pushed, pressured to do this credit nonsense.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's where a lot of people have fallen, and that's why people are having to get second jobs and do all the stuff, because a lot of things that were bought on credit that they cannot afford to pay.
yeah,
I'm not just talking about credit cards. I'm talking about loans of all sorts, right? So start
yeah,
selling some things.
yeah,
Start selling things you don't need. And there's lots of things you can be doing. But the
yeah,
Starfish community leads people toward that kind of freedom. That's what I love about
yeah. Yeah, I think it's really good because sometimes we buy because we have this flexibility. We don't even use it. We don't even think about it.
it. Hmm.
I have learned from that, my experiences, perfect experience. I feel about myself like, no, I want it, I want it, I want
Yes, the
it.
difference between want and need. That's the other thing.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I ask my children when they ask for something. Is it a want or is it a need? Right? If it's a want, then you have to work toward it. Right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
my 13-year-old now is realizing he
yeah.
needs to start paying for
Save
things.
up.
Right? No, I want him to learn early that you don't
Yeah,
just buy things without money.
yeah.
You have to earn it, right? You got to
Mm.
earn it. So delayed gratification, all these financial principles that again not being taught in schools. I know it's important to have our children, and even adults now who didn't learn this. It's not too late to learn these financial principles to be
Yeah.
financially fit.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I didn't know that uh, I will come across all these experiences, and
I'm
I'll
bringing
be
back
talking.
memories, Marmina.
No, but I'm really happy that now, after so many experiences, at least I feel like, do I really need it? Do I really need it? Can I live without that? I mean,
The
let's get
24-hour
real. I mean,
rule, right?
yeah, yeah,
24-hour
yeah, yeah.
rule.
And it feels really good. It feels really good. I mean, it's not like there are two types of feeling good I have experienced. One is like, I want it, I have got it. But
Yes.
now I'm thinking like, well, it's good that I didn't get it,
Yeah, you feel
But
good,
I think
right?
this feeling that it's good that I didn't get it makes me happy now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I learned.
Well, I again, I love the fact that if you were in our community, you have an immediate accountability coach.
Oh,
you
wow,
know,
wow.
you have an immediate limit on your spending. You have an immediate way to automate. I mean, people who can't deal with their finances, there are ways to automate things, right? So they don't have to worry about whether they paid something late or not. But I love the accountability and just the principles that you have to apply when you're using a Starfish. And all those principles are in the platform. It's taught through Orrin Woodward and Chris Brady wrote a book on the 47 financial principles. It's all on the platform, which I love. And people, again, did not get this kind of education at school, and this is why people are not good with their finances. I love the fact that they gave these two men who used their former systems engineering expertise to create something for people to apply these principles to one, be more financially responsible, and two, have another way, because employee self-employed doesn't work anymore. Sadly, for the reasons I stated, you need a B-type business with a system that is making ongoing income for you, whether you want it or not. And it's all packaged in the Starfish community. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. It's helping everyone from 18 to 80-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
People, I mean, even from the Amish community who never had a
Yeah.
phone, didn't have technology
Yes.
growing up, they're doing
Yes.
well on this. Uh,
Yeah.
and there's no discrimination. It doesn't matter whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical. It doesn't matter, because everyone can use this, and the more
Yeah.
people use it, the faster we can defund those evil credit cards. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I
this is
mean,
saving people in debt.
yeah. I think it's like very inclusive and diverse at the same time. And as I said, like since you have a big range of coverage, from 13 to 80 or 8 to 80, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. So so many people in that age group, like 80, they are not very tech savvy, so it becomes easier for them, otherwise they have to depend on so many other people to help them to do their things.
Yeah.
So that's really great. That's freedom for them, maybe.
Well, that's the idea. Again, Dixie,
Yeah.
this is another way you can get that freedom level income if you want. And there's no
Yeah.
ceiling. So
Yeah.
that's why people, if they put their heart into it, if they want to build it as a business like I am, because I want financial freedom for my
Yeah.
entire family, not just me.
Yes.
And I want to be able to give, lots of things, leave a legacy and so on, be able to give to people, and because I've been blessed, going back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
why I am here. I've been blessed.
Yeah.
I want other people to get the same blessing.
Nice. That's really wonderful. And it was very nice talking to you to
Thank you
learn
so
about
much for
something
having
that
me.
you'd. Ah, it was fun.
Yes, we'll have to continue this offline.
Yeah, yeah, hope so. Why not? Yeah, and it was nice to learn about something new that you are doing. And especially the age group that you're covering. And I felt like it's diverse and vast. Uh,
That's the
and
idea.
I also learned about um, the processing fees that the bank is charging. We don't
That
even
you don't
know, like
see.
we tap and go, we don't even count our money. I'm thinking
You
like
don't see
back
it.
then times were better, we were more healthily related to money than now, so
Yeah.
That also, that time, during that time, I don't think many people had anxiety, but nowadays so many people have anxiety, and this is one of the causes.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will be able to address this and take care of a little bit of anxiety. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the goal. I want people to be free of all things because,
Yeah.
money is a tool. And
Yeah.
if you can get people financially responsible and arm good people with money, good people will do good things with it, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
idea. And everybody can do this. You don't
Yes.
have to tell the financial matrix what to do with your life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. Okay, we are at the end of our episode today, and it was wonderful. And I got to learn a lot of things. I mean, I hear a lot of things about all these things, but in detail and one on one, it was really nice. And yeah, everybody has a responsibility for their own finances, and
Yeah.
as uh, Mary powerfully spoke about being responsible for your own finances, which is a really good affirmation for every one of us. And that can be a goal for your vision board. Yeah.
Yes. Well, for anybody who wants to learn more, feel free to connect with Mamina and she'll connect you with me.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
something that is really important, and we need to start reversing this pattern with people, because
Yes.
people's subconsciouses have been attacked. Let's just say
Yeah. Yeah.
attacked to the point where they're doing self-harm with
Yeah.
their finances. and,
Yeah.
and so I want people to have the tool to help them not even get into that trap early on.
Yes. Yes. So she has a very, how do I say, healthy goal. It is not a goal, but it's an affirmation for everyone to have it written somewhere or have it in your mind and take care of your own finances and be responsible for your own finances. And if you want to do better, do connect with Mary Powers. She will powerfully empower you.
Yes, I thank my husband for my powerful last name. But Namina, I apologize. I have to run.
We
But
have, yes.
I want to thank you for having me, and thank you again. I'm sorry I have to drop off, and I will touch base with you later. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. You have a good weekend. Thank you for being with us for today.
Thank you, and you have a good weekend as well. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye. Thank you.